I've been losing faith in Marvel recently. After Spider-Man web-swinged into a brick wall, Reed Richardson family proved to be anything but fantastic, and Hulk became suck, I started to wonder if there was any point in Marvel continuing making movies considering this recent track record of disappointment. So when Iron Man was announced, I really didn't have any high hopes for it. However, after watching the movie, I was pleasantly surprised. The comic book about an alcoholic billionaire with a heart problem and a kick-ass armored suit is 100 times better than watching a teenager with spider powers acting emo and dancing like a trained panda. Granted, I never read the comic book when I was growing up, but now I'm going to dig up some old issues because this movie has me hooked. The casting of the movie is incredible. Robert Downey Jr. delivers a rather humorous take on the billionaire playboy Tony Stark. He delivers his lines with a smugness that makes even Jack Sparrow seem like a novice. The other characters are well thought out. Jim Rhodes and Pepper Potts are Stark's closest friends, who he treats rather badly to begin with, which is the initial theme of the movie. We have seen this kind of storytelling before in movies such as Cars and Swept Away. The movie begins in Afghanistan, with Stark being the typical swaggering cock that he is. Then he and his escort are ambushed and attacked. Stark is hit by an explosion which lodges shrapnel into his chest. A terrorist group in Afghanistan are holding him ransom for exchange for his new super missile, the Jericho. No, not that one. After a scientist he's forced to work with saves his life, Stark decides to escape by using the materials the terrorists had provided him with, not to build the missile, but a fully armoured and bulletproof mech suit. Stark uses this as a means of escape, but sadly the scientist he works with gave up his life to allow Stark to carry on his and to do something useful with it. After having a near-death experience, Stark, in typical fashion, decides to turn his life around by cancelling the Jericho in favour of his new fetish for armour. However, not everyone shares his views on weapons bad idea, mainly in his company's business partner Obadiah Stane, who is secretly trying to remove Stark altogether. This leads to several scenes of Stane acting like a patronising douchebag. But hey, he's a businessman! What did you expect? What's really great with these movies is, when they get their powers, they don't instantly know what to do. Stark has a very difficult time building the suit, which is done in the right amount without taking too much airtime. It's pretty much how Batman Begins told its story. You got to value the Stark character as well as you did with Bruce Wayne. They both balance the characters and their alter egos well. The only difference between Robert Downey Jr. and Christian Bale is, Jr. has a personality. The scenes in which we get to see the Iron Man suit in action are incredible. You are literally picking your mouth off the floor in amazement. Even when he first puts on the prototype suit, he has major problems, which are still apparent even when he's mastered and completed the final piece. One problem I found is, it took Stark half the movie to build his armors and master them, but when Stane puts his on, it feels like he put it together in 30 seconds and instantly knew what to do. Something I kind of felt was weak in Spider-Man 1 and 3, where Goblin and Venom instantly knew what to do. Another problem I found with the Iron Man movie was, in the climactic battle between Iron Man and the Ironmonger, was it reminded me too much of Transformers down to the last detail. Some scenes reminded me too much of Optimus Prime fighting either Megatron or Bone Crusher. There were several nods to the future of this movie series, where Rhodes sees a clear silver Iron Man suit and says, another time, making clear reference to his character, War Machine. And the rings mentioned throughout the movie were as a nod to Iron Man's oldest villain, the Mandarin. And finally, at the end of the film, please stick around after the credits for it, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Nick Fury appears and asks Stark about the Avengers. The movie is action-packed and a roller coaster of a ride. It has a form of storytelling that a lot of superhero movies lack in places. This has officially knocked Batman Begins off the top of my list of my favourite superhero movies. So put it in a bad pun, it kicks brass. Now the pros and cons. Pros: 1. Great casting. 2. The Iron Man suits are fantastic. 3. I am now a fan of Robert Downey Jr. 4. This is the best Marvel movie ever. Cons: 1. Ironmonger was weak. 2. The Nick Fury scene should have appeared before the credits. I give the Iron Man an overall 5 out of 5. Marvel are back on top form. A good movie, and I await the sequels. I'm Random DCE, and I'll see you for another review next time.